there just is this air of like, we're all Christian, but we're all just trying to prove how good we are, like, at all times. So we're not really that normal. Like, Christians, like, just don't believe in medicine because we believe in God. That's horrible. Like, let's believe in medicine. Let's believe in medicine. The assumption that you could be conservative, I hate that so much. I hate that so much. White saviorism in Christianity is so strong and prominent, and I feel it just by existing. I have tried to record this so many times, it's crazy. Anyway, my name is Ruth Seneca. Welcome to my casual YouTube channel where I talk about anything casual or monumental related to life. Okay, I have been simmering, sitting, soaking, marinating on this thought for a long time, and the thought is in the title, about why it's embarrassing to be Christian. And I'm so nervous to say this out loud because there are a lot of people, I feel like there's so many sides to this, okay? There's gonna be people that don't want to hear this, that do not want to like actually hear me out, and the people that are gonna be like, this is slander, you should never slander God's name, and you should not be talking about this. Like, it's not embarrassing to be Christian, you're just brainwashed. You know what I mean? Like, I feel like I'm gonna attract that type of person. But then there's also the people that are going to over agree with me and be like, yeah, Christianity is weird as fuck. You should stop being Christian. And these are all of the reasons why. And then there's people in the middle that are probably just gonna like hear me and see my points as valid, and those are the type of people I want to reach. So my name is Ruth. Like I just said, I was born and adopted in Kampala, Uganda at the tender age of like a couple months, and my parents are missionaries. My dad's a pastor. I have always been Christian. I've never seriously wavered, you know, in my faith. I have had moments where I have doubted the type of life I was living because I was like, I don't know what Christianity looks like for me, but I don't want it to look like the way I have been going, which is like in middle school and like high school, which was like around a bunch of conservatives and like in a very conservative town, like where everybody's like super fake and not honest about the sins they commit on a daily basis. In college especially, I came to terms with what kind of person, what kind of Christian I wanted to be, and I'm still figuring that out. But in figuring that out, I'm really coming to terms with something I've wanted to say for a long time, which is just that being a Christian is embarrassing. There's so many things about Christianity that are so embarrassing. I should have just made this a whole like essay because there's so many points I want to make and so many things I want to say correctly, but I need to just speak off the cuff like a normal person. And like most Christians, I feel like have a very Christian speak, you know? Like, so when a Christian wants to say something, they say it in the most vague, nondescript way possible. Like if a Christian is, let's say a Christian is struggling with alcohol, they're not gonna say, you know, I've really been struggling with alcohol. I really like the way I feel when I drink. Like, I don't want to stop drinking, but I know it's better for me to just stop. As opposed to being like normal and like saying that. A Christian will be like, you know, my faith has just been wavering these days. I just have a problem staying strong in my faith. But I know that regardless of whatever struggles I go through, God will always be there for me no matter what. And I will make it out on the other side, even though I am struggling. Like, just be serious about it. You like drinking too much. Let's be for real, though. And that's a problem I have with Christianity. So that's why I didn't want to make this into a whole, like, structured essay, because I just want to be honest and open. And I feel like there are a lot of Christians that can't be unfiltered. So the reason I'm not writing this down, the reason why my thoughts are probably just going to come out as, like, streams of consciousness, is because I don't want to be the type of person that's like, you know, I've just really been struggling with my faith lately. God is always there. He is kind. He is patient. But some days I am unkind. I am impatient. And I just want us to just take a second. Like, I don't want to do that. I'm not doing that. In college, I want to hit on the fact I'm an adoptee from Uganda, raised by missionaries whose dad is a pastor. I've never not known anything other than Christianity. I've had what Christians may say, like, seasons of doubt. Like, I've had my doubts, you know? Like, I have had my moments where I did not feel like God was real because I was like, this life is so horrible, like God cannot exist. He cannot be here for me. If he's just letting this happen. There's no way. You know, like I've had those moments. But overall, I could never just stop and say, like, God isn't real. I can't imagine just getting to that point in my life. No matter what, I believe in God, but it's really hard for me to say that out loud for these following reasons. Okay. First of all, my existence, I feel like, is just such an archetype. It's such a strong, like, it's such a strong Christian theme. My existence is just like the adopted kid from Africa who has missionary parents. Every time I say that in a church, it just feels like there's a bunch of people just salivating, just wanting to like infantilize the hell out of me and be like, oh my God, I've always wanted to adopt. There's a bunch of like Sydneys just around like, I've always wanted to adopt. I want to adopt of every single color. I want to make a big family of non-biological children. I want to be surrounded by love. And then there's people who are like kind of cool about it, I guess. And I don't know, there's just a bunch of people that I don't feel comfortable talking about adoption with because they like do not, it almost feels like dehumanizing to admit that you are adopted and are a pastor's kid, because then you get put on this pedestal. At least in my experience, I just feel like people don't talk to me like I'm normal anymore, you know? Like once you say I'm adopted and I'm a pastor's kid and I was raised in Africa, it's all of a sudden those are the questions that you get. It's not like, what's your favorite TV show? Like, what's your, you know? That's always in the beginning, and I hate going through that phase of figuring out how people feel about things. Like, it just feels dehumanizing to say, like, I'm this from this as an adopted kid, and then my siblings will just say certain things, like say the same exact things. Obviously, they wouldn't say I'm adopted unless it's my little brother who's also adopted. But like, they get like normal friends who like don't tell them that their English is so good. They get people who don't make a big deal about their background, you know, who don't infantilize them or even fetishize them. It just is a prominent theme in Christianity to like put people like me, I feel like, on a pedestal because we're not normal people, we're people who are saved. And white saviorism in Christianity is so strong and prominent, and I feel it just by existing. It wasn't until I was in college studying the mental health effects of adoption on adoptees and everybody who surrounds them, that I just kind of sat back and like thought to myself, like, you know what, white saviorism has played a part in my life, and not just my life, but I just was reading like a bunch of statistics of like the amount of like white Americans who go out of their way to adopt children from third world countries. Not even just third world countries, but just like other countries. Like, why are there so many interracial adoptions, and why are we so accustomed to that? Why are we so comfortable with the fact that white people adopt people of color on a far larger scale than anybody else is adopting? And why are we so normal with that? Like, it shocks me when I see, like, and it's always on the internet, it shocks me when I see on the internet, like, a black woman adopting, like, a white kid, you know? Like, it feels unequal, you know what I mean? And that's upsetting. That's upsetting. It's embarrassing as an adopted kid to kind of be the product of what feels like white saviorism. Like, I'm not calling my parents white saviors, but the reaction I get from most people seems to be rooted in like, oh, they did so good, like they gave you a life. That seems to be rooted in like praising and clapping for white saviors just for like giving people of color, children of color, like homes. Like, that's embarrassing to me. And then also seeing the way that some missionaries interact with other people of color just feels odd as hell to me, because it's like, if you're a missionary, you should know how to interact with other people who do not reflect the same traits that you do, but it typically feels very condescending and very like, oh, I'm gonna treat them as different because like this is my skill set. But it's like, no, just like talk to them like a normal person. Like sometimes my mom will put on like an accent to accommodate the other person, put on their accent to accommodate talking to them, when it's like, just talk to them like normal. You know, it feels uncomfortable because it's like, I don't know why white people who go to other countries all of a sudden switch up and try to act like they're not the type of people they are. So I feel like I grew up seeing a lot of white people putting on this like face and this like this face and like this accommodating voice, but then they would then like set down their mask and be themselves around their white friends, their white missionary friends, which always felt weird to me. It always felt weird. And now that I'm an adult, I can confirm, no, that is weird. It's weird and it's embarrassing. Another embarrassing thing about being Christian is the assumption, yuck, the assumption that you could be conservative. I hate that so much. I hate that so much. Like I just went off on this tangent about white saviorism. Christianity is a part of me, and I love my relationship with God and what I have made out of it. But what I don't love is that socially, I'm nervous to say that I'm Christian, because then all of a sudden it like unloads all of these debates. Cool if you're Christian. If you're Christian, how often do you go to church? What's your favorite verse? What's your favorite verse? Do you even know what the book of Ruth is about? Do you even know? Who parted the sea? You know what I mean? Like, it just is, it's so aggressive and so competitive. Not in every single scenario. I'm probably just meeting a lot of the wrong people. But especially coming from a Christian college, there just is this air of like, we're all Christian, but we're all just trying to prove how good we are, like, at all times. So we're not really that normal. Like, I have always felt this, like, need to put on, like, a certain face around Christians and like people who have gone to church, and to like come off holier than thou. Like, there are a lot of Christians that are holier than thou, but the pressure to be that is something else. Like, I don't feel like I can have normal conversations with certain people, because I'm so used to being so filtered and like trying to impress people all the time, because like that's just what the era of Christianity, I feel like, does. There's nothing wrong with having moral standards and being a good person and being proud of that, but there just is this feeling of just like, I don't sin. I've never sinned before. When you're in the church, like, I'm a good person. I strive to be a good person every single day. It's like, sure, but like, be normal. Let's just be honest and real. And it feels hard to be honest and real sometimes in certain groups of people. Like, it growing up, it just always felt like we were all suppressing like the real emotions we felt that weren't like 100% good and what's the word? Faultless? I feel like it's just really hard socially to proclaim that you believe in God, and also to say like, yeah, I believe in God, but like, I'm not down with homophobia whatsoever. I'm not down with homophobia. I strongly believe in all autonomy, bodily autonomy, like, first and foremost. Like, was not a virgin whenever I got married. Like, even the idea of saying that, like, out loud and admitting that feels scary to me. But it's like, so many people go through that. So many people. More people than not. Like, the inability to be real when you're a Christian is hard. Or the pressure to always come off like picture perfect in the church, I feel like is also very hard. And it's like, why can't we just be real? You know, there's so many things socially about Christianity that I don't agree with. I don't agree with the notion that Christians like just don't believe in medicine because we believe in God. That's horrible. Like, let's believe in medicine. Let's believe in medicine. Or that Christians have to believe in certain things. It's like, okay, no one people group believes that you should live a certain distinct way, and that's the way to be that people group, you know? Faith is so nuanced, and there are so many varieties of faith in people's beliefs. Like, I don't know, it's just, I feel like Christianity, I believe in Christianity because I believe so strongly in the fruits of the Spirit: love, joy, peace, patience, kindness, goodness, faithfulness, gentleness, and self-control. I believe in living my life like Jesus because it will make me a better person, not only for myself, but for the people around me. I believe that one day I hopefully can build a community around people who believe in the same things. That's not embarrassing to me. It's not embarrassing for me to strongly stand behind the things that I stand behind in the Bible. It is embarrassing because I feel like the type of people that I've been around have embarrassed me, and just like are outwardly hateful and like use the title Christian to be hateful. And I don't want that. And that's so sad that Christianity could be not villainized, that people can villainize or weaponize Christianity in a way to shame people. Like, Christianity, for the most part, I've had a lot of experiences rooted in shame around Christianity, and on top of being embarrassed by other Christians, it's embarrassing that a lot of my life lessons have come from shame, and I hate that. And I don't like that that's a very common theme for a lot of other people who don't believe in God anymore. I don't like that large communities of Christians have like shamed multiple people who I identify with heavily, into just saying that they're not Christian anymore. You know? I will never just walk away from faith because I believe in my own individual relationship with God. But for the most part, I'm not happy with the shame and guilt that I feel when people describe their relationship to Christianity as bad and shameful and embarrassing. So that's why I just think that it's just embarrassing to be Christian. These past couple years especially, like, people don't feel good about Christianity. And that makes me sad and embarrassed.